Hey guys, zoidbergenstein here with a series of videos chronicling NUC's journey from brand new World of Tanks team all the way to as far through the WGLNA as we can make it. In today's matchup, we're again going back to week 1 of the WGLNA Preseason against a team who we've played a bit, and I should know how to pronounce their name, but I don't. It's YO_OY, maybe it's a face, maybe it's something. All I know is they're a good group of guys, and we've seen them around quite a bit, and they're having a great preseason. So, we're on Himmelsdorf with almost mirrored compositions. We did get rid of that IS-6, we're now running two 5100s and 3 IS-3s. The other team is running two 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and a T-32. That T-32 is a better hold down tank than we are, so we're going to try and be very careful in these hidey holes and these peaks because that T-32 will be able to get shots in our IS-3s that we can't return on him. Despite having superior hold down ability, we are going to take the hold down positions and try and get a couple shots off. The way we look at it, if we let one T-32 completely change the way we play this map with no real counter strat for it, it's going to harm us more than going out, peeking, and trying to get a shot in one of their IS-3s and setting up the way we normally do. We push our 5100s into position where they can support whichever side is going to get pushed. We move a T1 up on the hill to make sure that they aren't pushing hill. We move a T1 onto rail to make sure that they don't flank us, and we feel very safe in our defensive set now. At this point, this is how we had seen Himmelsdorf played. A match or two from now, we would go up against Bernal Empires who did a very effective mid-push on us and absolutely demolished us. And in a lot of our later Himmelsdorf matches, you can see us trying to emulate that. Playing a very aggressive push into the mid, trying to take the other team by surprise and winning that initial firefight. Now right now, when we see that they aren't pushing mid, and we know that of course we aren't pushing mid, we can assume that we're in for a camp fest here, which is going to last a few minutes, either until one team decides, alright, this is our opportunity to push, or one team gets a couple shots on the other team and we see advantage. Until that point, however, we're going to have these two IS-3s continue to play the hidey hole. Now, these hidey holes can be a very difficult position. You have to be able to get shots off on another tank in almost the same position on the opposite side of the map without taking damage yourself. In this situation, if you get a shot into them, they don't get one into you, you've done a great deal for our team, giving us HP advantage because those IS-3s can roll so high on the damage scale. Now, at the same time, if you take a shot and you're not able to deliver one back, you've set us back significantly. So what I tell my guys is, whenever you're playing that position, be very, very careful that you're always in position to give them a shot. If you have no chance of shooting them and they have a chance at shooting you and out-damaging you, just don't even bother taking it. Maintain a highly defensive position, and we'll try and find our advantage some other way. 2 minutes into the game, we haven't even spotted the T1. Everything on this map is completely blind, so we're going to start posturing for spots. Now we can assume a couple different things here. They could be back in that A4 area. In team battles, a lot of times you see a very brawly team and we've got autoloaders. They'll try and camp every tank in the A4 area, wait for us to push over there, and then blow up one tank. Now we're very inexperienced at this point in the preseason, and we don't really know how to handle that, so we're talking over, alright, what do we do if they are there? Since then, we've obviously faced that in a lot of team battles. We're much better at dealing with it. It's really not a great strategy, but we have to be mindful that they might be there and not get caught into what they want us to do. At the same time, they could be playing a very defensive style in the northwest or northeast in that A1-3 area, C1-3 area, or the A8-0, C8-0 areas. If they're doing that, we again have to be very careful that we don't get sucked into their trap. If we push our tanks directly down a line without good spots, they could burn the first tank down very, very easily, and then we're in a 4-on-5 disadvantage. To counter that, we're going to start moving our tier 1s up for spotting. We send that eastern T1 up to make sure that there's nothing on the D line that we might have missed. He checks that little peek hole, doesn't see anything, so we're going to continue to move him down a little bit. But we feel very comfortable knowing that there's no one on D line, no one on 8 line, that we can push safely down the 8 line, start taking map control away from the other team, and eventually set up an encounter that we're going to have an advantage on. As we're pushing towards this 8 line, one of our T1s gets a spot on another T1 on the west side rail. We're going to pause our push because we don't know what that means. They could be trying to do something similar to what we're doing. Move a T1 out for spots, get some spots on us, and then hard push behind him. At the same time, they could just be scouting. We don't really want to extend ourselves when something like that could happen. So we hesitate our push, we allow our T1 to engage that, and once we're confident that a hard push is not coming behind that tier 1, we're going to go ahead and move back into our plan of action. As we're getting ready to go, Pony picks up the kill on the other T1, so we know that we won't be spotted on the west side. Because of that, we're going to push Spanish down on the east side and hope that we can get a kill over there on the other T1 so that they will be playing completely blind. Additionally, by pushing him down that 0 line all the way to A0, we're going to get spots on anything else they might have. Now, we do end up seeing their other T1, which is a little confusing. They've pushed both their T1s onto the west side. They have nothing on the east side. So right now, we're really thinking that they're probably hard turtled in that A1 to 3, C1 to 3 area. And we're going to move down to the 8 line and try and get set up where we can burn them down, taking minimal damage ourselves. When Spanish gets the spot on that tank at 8-4, we're worried that our worst fears have been confirmed. If they're playing that A4 area this early in our World of Tanks career, we really don't know how to deal with it very well. We've tried pushing hard into it, we've tried picking away at it, and we've done very poorly each time. As I mentioned, we are much better at it before. It's really a cheese strategy. It's there to take advantage of noobs who don't understand how to beat that strategy. So we're going to pause for a second. We're going to say, okay, if they're in A4, what do we do? We decide that we don't want to go down the 5 line because that's going to give them the best cover. We're going to push to the 3 line, see if we can figure out if anybody's there, and then push. Now, this is something that I'm still working on. When I play that 5100, you oftentimes see me push just a little too aggressively out there, and I end up spotting another tank. Had he been looking for me, he could have gotten a very easy shot off on me, and I would have taken early damage, something we really don't want to have happen in our 5100s. Our IS-3s are there to soak up the damage. The 5100s have to stay alive to do damage. Now, I end up pushing out here anyways, and I take a shot that I shouldn't have taken. I move back on Cerro and block his path, and we're going to try and burn that 5100 down very quickly. The faster the 5100 dies, the more advantage we get in this fight. Now, the reason that we take that 5100 down first is because he does have those 6 auto-loading shells. If he's allowed to get all 6 of those out on us, that's a lot of damage. If we can burn him down before he gets his 6 shells out, then we've taken away most of their spike damage and put ourselves in a great position to win the rest of this firefight. Now, we do see that there are 2 tanks trying to flank us. As soon as we see that, we're going to call a hard push and try and zone them. We come around this corner, I'm going to engage the T-32, pick the kill up on that, and then move on the IS-3, and the rest of our tanks are going to round that corner so the tanks on the flank can't actually get any shots off on us during this engagement. And that's huge. We've just created a 4-on-2 situation where their last 2 tanks have absolutely no effect on this fight. For those of you who have watched a lot of my first-person shooter videos, you'll notice that we don't flank in World of Tanks nearly as much as we used to in first-person shooters. And the reason for that is tanks are so much slower in this game. If you can move on a flank and have those tanks that are flanking engage at the same time as your main force, you do create a lot of really good angles. But there's always the danger in this game that you won't be able to hit that flank, and just like these 2 tanks here, you're going to be completely taken out of the battle. Now, I am in a 48-second reload in this 5100. Once I get this, I know that either one of those tanks I'll be able to beat in a 1v1. Now, because of my first-person shooter experience, to me, I'm thinking, okay, if I can beat these guys in a 1v1, I should flank. We think better of that, however, and we decide that we still have a tank advantage. We have 3 tanks, they have 2, we're on their cap. Instead of trying to flank and do something where we create a 1v1 that we have to win, we're going to push all 3 of our tanks together and make them out-damage all of us, which is going to be very, very difficult. It's going to take at least 2 shots to kill me. Nafe is in 2 to 3 shot range. Zuzi is in 2 shot range. So they have to put a lot of damage out on us to beat us. We push together. Nafe and I start moving because Zuzi has the lowest hit points. We do see an IS-3, little bit of miscommunication there. We push one IS-3 in front of me, and then, unfortunately, I bounce a shot on this 5100 that I absolutely should not have bounced, and I take one more hit. Nafe goes in for the kill, gets one more shot on him. Nafe goes down, but we know that this guy's low enough. All we need is one more shot on him. I take a hit, Zuzi's able to finish that kill, and our 3 tanks burn their 2 tanks down, and we win the match. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. Feel free to leave comments down there in the comment section asking about some of these matches I've uploaded or upcoming matches or how you can learn more about the team. You can also follow me on Twitter. I post there quite a bit about what we have going on. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next match breakdown video.